No more fucking around. It's Wylde Style Radio. Wylde Style Radio.
Stand up and shout.
What's up, and welcome to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show, coming to you live from Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia, on the Wylde Style Network, fueled by Monster Energy.
Yes, sir. Here we are 2 weeks in a row. We normally go every other week, but because we have many esteemed guests and repeat guests, we decided to, of course, go back to back with another episode. Couldn't resist.
Yep.
Could this be setting a precedent for a weekly show?
Oh, like the weekly show pressure is now on. It could be. I mean, this is what is this? This is a five-way. There's me and you, and then these three bands that are in
That's on the
tonight?
later show, talking about five ways.
We have to have a five-way to go weekly, Lou.
That's for Jess.
that is for Jess, exactly.
I don't know. The demand might be there.
For the five-way?
For the weekly. The demand's always there for the five-way. But so for the weekly stand up and shout.
Okay.
All right.
I love it.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe we can get you out to some concerts and on some other side stages.
We'll check with the consultants and see what they say.
We can take it. We can do the road show at some of these, out of venue shows, so to speak. Jess had the camera last time. Speaking of Jess, we didn't get it to M3.
You could do it standing.
Jess didn't have it during M3. Jess had it the day before M3. Somebody just chose not to come to Manassas, even though Jess and Jeff had events going on that night.
I was at a winery late.
Yeah.
That was, I was a responsible driver.
Easy. Might get in trouble with the one viewer.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we got a big show coming up on the 25th here at Salisbury Center. Another metal night in Manassas.
Yes. On a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night.
So
That's
let's
right.
clarify that right away. And Memorial Day weekend. Good score, you all. Saturday night, Memorial Day weekend. That is slick.
Awesome.
So joining us, we've got Lucas from Cursor.
What up?
Jaden and Damien from the Knuckleheads.
What's going on?
And Daniel Ruin from Age of Ruin, all on that bill.
What's happening?
Welcome, guys.
What's up, guys?
Hey, thanks for having me. Hello.
And so how many times, Daniel, has this been for you on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show?
I mean, it's practically weekly at this point.
I was going to say, are we beyond a count? Are we to the, I mean, at least 4.
I think we're up at 4, maybe 5, pushing 5. It might be there.
Yeah. And I love it. And then for the Knuckleheads, you guys, is there 3rd or 4th?
I think 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be 4th.
You're around Age of Ruin numbers. And then Luke.
Yeah, this is my second time.
Is it only the 2nd? I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it was the 2nd or the 3rd.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. You guys, it feels very comfy to me. I don't know about you, but it feels very comfy.
It does. It's a warm feeling I have in this room right now.
Yes, it's definitely warm. I can feel the love.
All right, so we want to talk new music first because you guys have been slaving away at some good stuff. We'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, sure. This show coming up is going to be a special one. As you said, it's on a Saturday, which is really great. Sometimes it's a challenge getting, with Fridays and Sundays and weekdays, all of the people that we, want to have out at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's conflicts with everyone's schedule, of course, so it's really outstanding. And what's really cool about this show is that the 3 bands here are also going to be on a bill later this summer, which is a pretty large one we're pretty excited about with Black Flag, which, the 4 of us all have punk rock backgrounds. Luke has played in the Daycare Splendors. We all kind of go back, and I think being on a bill with Black Flag is extra special. Yes, so this one is one of several shows that the folks here, the folks are at Salisbury Center are sponsoring as a way to showcase some of the bands that are going to be playing later this summer on that show.
And we'll keep talking. So when I was given your count of times coming in, we're going to keep talking more and more about all of this.
Oh, I hope so, because there's way too much to talk about in 1 hour.
Easily.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so in addition to that, we've got a couple of other guests playing with us 2 months later who actually is recording right now with Damien, right?
Yeah, I think I just finished with them. They liked the last mix I sent them.
Oh, nice.
So
So do you think that might be out by Saturday? Maybe not.
Not by Saturday.
Pushing it.
Surely by mid-June, I think it'll be out.
Cool.
We're trying to pull together some like bigger things with the release. Like there's been talks of a label.
Oh, wow.
Oh, all
So
right, nice.
We're trying to figure that out behind the scenes. Hopefully, whatever comes out will be really cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Damien, I got to ask you, like I'm going to sidetrack completely because the last time I saw you in the Knuckleheads, Jaden, you too, you were obviously there. So not to exclude you two.
No, I was somewhere else now.
And you were doing the vocals for "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys, which was I was not expecting in any kind of way. How did that come about?
How did we come up with that?
Well, so we've entered we're both from Loudoun County. And they have these like Battle of the Bands that go on every year or so for high school students, which we aren't anymore, so we can't do it anymore. But the last time that we were able to do it, we needed another cover for the final battle that we managed to get into. Because just originals doesn't always sell you super well.
Sure.
As much as that sucks.
Yeah.
And somebody randomly pitched "I Want It That Way." We took it, we shrunk it down to like less than a minute.
Yes.
And here we are.
Yeah.
I remember, the one thing I remember from it is you were reading me the verses, and I was just saying, okay, I know that verse. Okay, I don't remember that verse. We're not gonna play that one. Okay, I don't know that bridge. We're not doing it. And I said we're gonna do the first verse or like the intro.
Yeah, the chorus, the guitar solo, and then end it.
So yeah.
That was a needle off the record moment for me in the middle of y'all's set. You know, like I was like, wait, what? Am I hearing that? Did I drink too much? Like, where am I?
Maybe you did. Never know.
It's possible. Likely.
Yeah. So I had to ask that question, but I had you guys
Great.
here. All right, so we got to get back to the originals though. So enough with the covers. I hear you.
Yeah,
Josh.
we only
What you
have
were
one
saying.
of us.
Get back to the originals. Yeah. So Daniel, you were talking about the Age of Ruin album that you've been working on for a number of months now. I think the last time you were in here, we were having that conversation.
Yeah.
How are things going with all of that?
Shoot, man, I think I've probably been talking about this the 4 or 5 times I've been in here.
Yeah.
You know, as you guys know what it's like to work on a record. I think Lucas told me the Cursor record took something like 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years, yeah.
So, I mean, similar story with us. We tracked with a friend of mine that we go back a long time with, back to the 90s even. You know, I used to go see these guys play Georgia Mason University, local shows, a band called Darkest Hour. Mm-hmm. Mike Schleibaum has been engineering it, and we, through his guidance, went and tracked drums down in Richmond with Will Beasley, and he's currently in the final throes of the mix. Mm-hmm. We got some minor tweaks, and it's like the mix is there. It's like, okay, this one little section, the guitar solo needs to just be a hair louder. But, you know, it's like literally that close.
Right.
Art's almost done. So we're looking at dropping a couple singles, following Cursor's lead, like a lot of folks, dropping a single or two before the final record is out, because we're still working through also some label stuff and artwork and all of everything the logistics of putting a record together are just crazy.
Sure.
Particularly in a DIY sort of punk rock mindset. You know, you have to make phone calls and call on favors and really support the rest of the people in the same community. Yeah. So to make that happen, it takes a village, like they say.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that.
I feel your story, like everything that you're describing, if somebody's watching this and they're not following Age of Ruin or Daniel Ruin on social media, you document a lot of this, you know, these changes and a lot of excitement, you know, when new ideas are born and new pieces to songs are changed or added. So I always like seeing that. So I love how you're very open about that story. And so I just want to kind of, you know, throw that out there for people who are watching. If you're not following Age of Ruin, follow Age of Ruin, because you get to see really kind of the process and everything that you're describing.
It's funny you say that, because I have, terabytes of data. We had like 4 GoPros running at the same time every time we were in the studio, and like some multiple angles. And sort of advice we got early on was don't share too much, because it'll be
Right.
before it's out, people will be like, well, why are you promoting this so hard? I can't even listen to it.
Right.
So we have a lot that we can share once we get down to that. Once we cross that bridge.
I feel what I see. Man, I'm all choked up today. When I'm watching, it's just genuine excitement. That's what I typically see. So I don't think I think the oversharing comes from a genuine place.
Thanks.
You know, because you're at a place where you're really excited about whatever development has happened, and so you're just simply shouting it to the winds.
I like to. I have a birthday next week.
Oh, happy birthday! Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say what the age is, but
landmark? Is it landmark?
I don't know what it's
There's a zero
it's
at the
divisible
end.
by 5.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
I'm on the
All right,
just
kinda.
behind Jeff. Okay, but yeah.
Well.
I think it's really. It's important. I really drive myself in positivity and being associated and surrounded with really good, positive people that influence me, like everyone in this room.
Sure.
The 4 of you, the drive, the passion that you guys have with your podcast, with the venue here, putting all of this on, sometimes taking, some days are better than others.
Yeah.
But still the perseverance and. That's what I really love about sharing the stage and sharing events with bands like the Knuckleheads. I mean, I've been associated friends with you guys for probably 3 or so years, maybe.
Yeah, 3 years.
Right after the pandemic or something, I ran into these guys at
Is that Tucked Away?
I think it was Tucked Away.
Tucked Away. I actually saw you at the Electric Palm before that, I think.
No, we hadn't played the
Yeah, we
Electric
hadn't
Palm by
played
then.
Electric.
Okay, maybe it was Tucked Away. So it was one of those Metal Teresa shows.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, and just the enthusiasm was awesome. Like like just love punk rock. Really, and what's cool about these guys is, and I know this as a musician, like you can tell when people practice.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and I not to pick on Lucas or anything. I'm just kidding. I'm not just messing with you. But like you can tell not only so there's one thing to practice. Like I go home and I personally play my guitar every day.
Sure.
Even if it means like I didn't mow my grass today or so, I still got that time in. But there's another thing, like sometimes people will say, it's so corny when people say rehearsal, you know what I mean? But that practice as an individual, rehearse as a band.
Yep.
What you can see about these bands, Cursor too, is that these guys are tight as a unit. It's too bad Sam's not here because the 3 of them together, super tight. Playing a cover song like that only has its impact if everyone's gelling as a unit, and then when they're gelling, they're having fun too.
Absolutely,
and you can really see that in the performance and everything. And that's what drives me is being involved with the community, being involved with music, is being around genuine, positive people that are just pushing forward and really want to share their music with people. And that's what I'm really excited about this show on the 25th. Cursor's new record.
Yeah,
I'm. Being friends with Lucas doesn't mean I get to hear the record before everyone else, apparently. So, but like the day it was dropped, I was sitting at my desk working, and I started spinning it in the morning, and I was like, man, this is so freaking good. Before I knew it, it had been on repeat on Spotify. Like I probably listened to it 5 times before I realized I was still listening to the same freaking thing. You know what I mean? You can just tell a lot of time, a lot of hard work went into it, and I'm really excited for these guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the process, putting that record together. I think we talked about it briefly when you were here the last time, but we still hadn't come out, and I think we're going to play some snippets of some of it. But talk about the new album.
Yeah, the new album, it dropped on May the 1st. It's called Apparitions, and it was about 2 years in the making that record. We worked with Will Beasley down in Richmond as well. Daniel he's mixing your record, right? He just did the drums and mixing it for you. But you can attest, like, Will's great, like such a chill guy, like, and shout out to the Bakery studio down in Richmond too. It's such a hospitable spot. You go in there and you just feel like you're at home.
Did you guys stay there?
We did. We slept in the bunks.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Will's got this awesome setup.
Sweet, man.
It's full kitchen.
Yeah, dude.
Dope kitchen too.
Yeah.
Like it's so like the construction.
Everything you
but
need.
then it's also like if you want to sleep here.
Yeah. Shower.
I didn't tell him this because I'm not sure if we were there before, but I totally threw up in that toilet. I was like, it wasn't nerves. I ended up getting kind of sick last year, but we were down there and I was having some sort of thing. And man, I was in that toilet freaking.
You were not the first, my friend.
But you stayed in. So he's got bunk beds. If there's any bands out there that want to, shout out, go there because it's a awesome studio and Will is really talented. But you can see it, you can hear it in your record, man.
Yeah, like it was kind of a collection of all of us kind of working on it. I demoed a lot of the stuff, like all the synth stuff, all of the programming stuff I did in my studio at my house, and then our drummer recorded all the drums at his studio in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, and then we would go to Richmond and track guitars and vocals and bass with Will, and then basically like Steph would send the drum tracks to Richmond, and it was kind of just like this collaboration. I hear the song playing.
I know. I was gonna say I hear it. Yeah,
right on.
I hear it in the background too.
But we just all got together and just put everything we could into this record. I think kudos to everyone in Cursor. Everyone really brought their A game and really, man, we're just excited about the record. Like the response has been really great, and just excited to just be playing it out live as much as possible wherever we can. Whoever's willing to listen, we're ready to go, man.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
So I think I know we could kind of hear a little bit of it, but I think John's going to play The Canary.
Yeah, it's called Canary. It was a song that kind of came from our guitarist, Josh. He was like talking about this thing, like used to put canaries down in like coal mines, right? So if the canary drops dead, oxygen levels are low, you got to get out of there. So it's kind of like this imagery in my brain of like, around that time, it was that story of those folks that got trapped underground. I was just thinking about like, what would that be like, And then kind of just inspired that song. It's just a song about trying to escape the darkness, whatever that is in your life,
Yeah.
And there's always light to reach for,
Excellent.
Again, the positivity vibes. I try to do the same, man.
Yeah. So let's bring a little bit louder and play a couple.
So that's like goosebumps to me. I don't know how
I didn't want to turn it down. I just want to keep going.
He queued it up right when the hook came in. Did he not?
Yep.
Well played, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
That was phenomenal.
Well done to you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we love that song. That's a special one for us because we're really, I'm a big synthwave guy and I love like synthesizer, and I feel like that song, it's got the rolling A, it's like the pumping, bass line, like that 80s kind of feel.
Sure.
So really trying to infuse those elements into like a rock, kind of hard rock metal way. It's kind of just something we were experimenting with, and we were stoked with how it turned out.
Yeah.
It's killer.
Thank you.
So I'm curious too. So you guys, you're coming in on Saturday, 3 different bands. You're talking about with similar backgrounds, but I know because I've heard all 3 of you, and you guys have 3 different bands, and there's 4 of you, so it's not necessarily just 3.
We'll merge into one.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So like, how do you describe your sound? We just heard your sound, and everybody's going to interpret that and classify it in their own way. But I know when I see something and I see you all, I see 3 different acts that really are taking different approaches to the music that they're playing. But if you haven't seen you all before, any of your bands, how would you describe that to someone?
So I want to start.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Daniel. Take the hard question.
I actually typed it out. Let me pull it up.
Well, so that's an interesting question because I think everybody draws on influences throughout their lives.
Sure.
Whether you're a musician or not, I mean, you're influenced. If you're a writer, then you're everything you read goes into it. Even the formulation of emails is based on like how you've read other emails.
Sure.
But this is how other people have. There's a body and so your influences really do have those impacts. And this new Age of Ruin material is unlike a lot of what we've done in that we've really, I'd hate to say this, but it's like taking risks, but it's not really we've just broken down all barriers and decided the approach is to the approach we're taking is to write the music that we want to hear. We all have different bands we listen to, different things that influence us. But we just want to play the music that we want to hear. And so whereas before in our earlier days, we might be like, well, this song needs a breakdown because we need a part where everyone's going to mosh and everything.
Sure.
It's not about that now. It's about what is the best thing for this song right here. And so there's actually an acoustic track on this. In fact, the title track to our record is called Nothing Man. And the title track is an acoustic track.
Okay.
With all singing. There's a lot of singing, like, on this record. In fact, the track we'll play later has about half and half singing in it. But we usually identify, if there's a genre, as a melodic death metal band, which would be like In Flames, At the Gates, Soilwork. It's a lot of that Gothenburg sort of sound. I am heavily influenced by the 90s hardcore movement, so like Snapcase, Damnation AD. Damnation AD was a DC band that I was just head over heels over. Right. And in fact, later ended up playing guitar in that band, which was really cool, really special. So really, I still today, I would say we're a hardcore band. But I think genre-wise, we're kind of identified as melodic death metal.
Gotcha.
But I think when a lot of folks hear this new stuff, they're going to be like, it's not that.
Right.
Like, what is it, And so, it's also, everyone wants, there's a need to sort of identify or categorize music.
Yes.
So that you can put it on a shelf somehow and say, this is what I'm going to listen to now. I'm going to go to the gym, so I'm going to listen to some metal. It's driving. That does have an impact on you.
Sure.
Your emotions, your how you react to it physically, etc. But that's not really what music is about. It's not about categorizing. It's not about. There's no competition per se. It's about sharing what comes from inside.
Absolutely.
And
I think, just being authentic to what it is, whatever that music is and however it takes form, as long as it feels like it comes from a genuine place inside. Like, I think, with Cursor too, like it's, I guess you could say rock. It's definitely under that rock umbrella, but also I feel like in some ways, and like I love bands like The Clash, right? Like no real genre, like just kind of do whatever you want, right? And so with Cursor and this record, we kind of scratch the surface of some of the things we're interested in, but there's so much more that we haven't done, and I've always appreciated bands that kind of have that kind of formless identity. They can kind of do what they want. And they step into that world, and at the end of the day, as long as it's authentic, it's them.
Sure.
So that's kind of always the goal too. It's just to make music that you love, and I think it's awesome. You guys are doing acoustic tracks, and you're considered a death metal band. Like that's great. Like that's what music's about, is like pushing yourself and trying new things, and just doing it.
Yeah. Jaden, Damien, how would you describe your sound?
I've always liked to take into consideration what other people think when they hear us, because obviously that's the most important thing.
Because I feel like we all, Sam, Damien, and we all come from fairly different musical backgrounds.
Sure.
Damien he's like Bad Religion, Lagwagon, the 90s skate punk. Sam he's into like Midwest emo, so like maybe not
Origami
like
Angel Pup.
Origami Angel Pup.
It's not a Midwest emo band, but
But within the emo sphere, and then I have a big like Japanese like J-pop, J-rock background, especially as of recent, and we have newer stuff that we don't know where exactly it's going, but and on some of that more recent stuff, I'm channeling like more funk type stuff too.
Nice.
So it's stuff that you wouldn't expect to hear in our kind of thing, which I think most people tend to classify as like pop punk. That's I think what most often comes up for us.
Okay.
I think pop punk sums it up.
Okay.
Melodic and energetic,
Harmonies.
all that stuff, for sure.
Yeah, and I think John has a couple of your tunes queued up, so we can go ahead and
Here's some of the Knuckleheads.
Knuckleheads. Yep.
know what's really cool about the Knuckleheads is the harmony, the vocals, and the play off of each other singing. You know, there's cadences to it that are unusual. That's what I think is really cool.
Sure.
It doesn't. One voice doesn't overpower the other, so that's really I think key to your sound.
Yeah, it's a mesh.
We love putting in harmonies. Like that's so much fun to do.
It's a staple for a lot of our stuff. I mean, yeah, especially the stuff on Hillwood Avenue, which is where that song "Standing Still" is from. I think is there a song on there that doesn't have any harmonies in it at all?
Well, Throw Yourself that has no vocals. Period.
Yeah, but even that, that's kind of weird for us. That's like a 6/8 like Pink Floyd, like Led Zeppelin,
cool.
like I'm gonna crawl since I've been loving you kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I have to piggyback on something with you guys that Daniel brought up about, basically how tight you've become as a band. We've witnessed that because we've seen a lot of Knucklehead shows. I walked down and I think you thought I was half crazy when I told you that because I probably didn't phrase it very well that night. I was like, I think I said something to the extent like, you guys have gotten really good. And not that you were ever bad, but it probably came out that way.
No.
But it has been like what you brought up, Daniel, to me, like seeing the Knuckleheads multiple times over time, that tightness, what you were really describing earlier is very solid with you all. It's been a thrill to watch.
Thank you.
So
Thank
your
you so
musicianship has really, is outstanding. And I appreciate you guys answering that question with 3 different bands in here, in regard to Saturday and then the upcoming Local Palooza show. Because I want people to know that they're going to see a lot of diverse music when they come out to these types of shows. Yeah. So, and
Don't
that's
you mean next Saturday?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
In like 9 days. They'll be surprised if they come in here on Saturday expecting a punk band.
This bi-weekly thing is killing me, and they're going to get kickboxing instead. It's a
One time.
win-win.
Whether it's in the pit or in the ring,
Here we go.
that's the question.
it's all high energy anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Salisbury. Damn weekly shows.
Well, and now with our show and share, let's hear the New Age of Ruin tune. Tell
All right,
us about
cool.
that.
Yeah, we've got Heavy as the Crown queued up, and this one is not yet on Spotify. As I mentioned, this is in the final throes of some of our mixes, and it's one of the first songs that we as a group wrote together with the lineup that we have right now. We have been playing as this lineup for about 3 years, and it's the most solid I think that we've really felt. And this is probably going to be one of, if not the first single off the record. So go ahead and listen to it real quick. Right over here with a guitar solo from our buddy Jonathan.
Oh, it's John. Now, you were talking about melodic, becoming more melodic and more acoustic, but you were also speaking to this as being one of your heavier tunes off of this.
Yeah, sure. We've got, it's really, the record is one of these where it's got a little bit for everybody. Mm-hmm. I like to approach writing a record. I don't know how you guys, everyone has a different way of looking at it, but I like to approach writing a record as like a long story that weaves different chapters, different ideas into it. I like a lot of different bands, and I like bands where, it's everything from grind, bands where it's like 20 songs in 20 minutes, right. 60 seconds of, but I also really like, personally, I like there to be climax and dynamics in music. Uh-huh. And so we've been drawing on a lot of our early influences in grunge, in, 80s rock, and like a lot of the stuff you've been talking about, electronic music. Yeah. And the vocal, pushing ourselves vocally really has been exciting.
Sure.
It's been really exciting, as well as the guitar stuff. I still study under a master guitar teacher type deal. I mean, I still weekly am learning, and I think that's important to me as a musician is to never stop learning, to always keep pushing myself.
Right.
And it's really satisfying as a musician to go out there and then execute it. So every time we play, and I get to be like, man, I freaking nailed it. Like, I didn't make a single mistake tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, well. And then everybody else is like, what are you talking about, Danny? You totally messed up that one. So, yeah, I guess I tripped over your chord and pulled it out. Or whatever, you know, but,
Yes.
But I think that's what's really exciting and satisfying as a musician is to be able to push yourself and to grow and share that through the recording. The recording is a capture, is really like here is how this band sounds at this point in time. Because you guys know when you record something, give it a week and you're playing the solos differently, right?
Yeah,
or the harmonies and the vocals are different. You're like, man, like you always think to yourself, like, we could have recorded it that way. But the thing is, you didn't. You made decisions, and it's a capture. It's a snapshot in time of what that band sounds like.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think every band out there, from Pink Floyd, like you mentioned, Led Zeppelin, every band that's had to play their songs over and over again has thought, like, wouldn't it have been different if I recorded it that way?
Sure.
But you didn't, and that's part of being proud of what you've done is you made decisions, you made it happen.
Sure. And I think too, it really speaks to how special it is with live music, right? Like when a band's in front of you performing, it might be a little different than the record, but that's what makes it so special.
Sure.
You know, you got people in a room making music, you know, making something out of nothing.
Yeah, we don't want to. I mean, we've talked about it all the time. We were having a little chat about backing tracks. It's like, who the fuck cares? You know, if you mess up a note or whatever, it's live.
Right.
There's always a variance in how it's can be performed. So that's what makes live music great.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing about backing tracks and click tracks and everything, because what you're doing is you're offering to the overall mix something that can't be done on stage because of limitations with the sound system maybe, or just the fact that you'd have to have an army of musicians on stage to be able to perform it all. But you're able to bring that element in, but it is not lip synced like you would think. Like it's not like something is replacing
The old
that.
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely like that. I think if it's like we mentioned, like, you know, if you've got like you know, the whole Phil Spector wall of sound, if that's what you're trying to create live, like some of those elements, it's cool to incorporate, you know, just to make it just sound like this huge wall of sound, you know?
Sure.
Like I love like when bands bring in like the sub drops, for example, like it just gives so much dimension and hit to like when the chorus hits, you know, like, just makes it just sound, just gives it that extra, you know, little something. But
and I've said this to Lucas and also to the rest of your band. When you talk about these backing tracks, and there may be a debate over whether it's authentic or not. Wait until the band gets off the click.
Yeah.
And then you know, and they don't.
Legit or not.
They don't. And that speaks. It's testament to how much they've rehearsed. It's testament to how good they are as musicians, because they can stay right on top of that and they can play the entire song flawlessly. Right. I've seen bands fall off that click live and it's a total train wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can't get back on once you fall off.
Yeah, it's it. I mean, you stop the song and then it's just, and it's not only embarrassing for the band, but everyone in the crowd's like, oh,
It's a little cringe. Yeah.
So, Damien and Jaden, similar approach to how you guys craft your songs or different? You want to speak a little bit to that?
Especially with this last album, I think it kind of was just, we would write songs and then the album was kind of just a packaging of said songs.
Yeah.
If you want to add on to that at all.
I remember like Standing Still, for example, the song that played earlier. It was
very different initially.
It was originally not gonna be on the album. We had another song in place that one day Sam just looked at me and he was like, "This is a bad song, Damien." And I looked at him and I thought, like, am I gonna retaliate? And then I was like, "Nah, you're right. It's a bad song."
Yeah.
So we reworked it, and that's how Standing Still came along. I think we've talked here before about how we had like our 14 songs.
Yes.
As kind of like I mean, do you think that limited us? I think
No,
it was
I
kind
don't
of
think
just
so.
like that was the plan.
I mean, yeah, no, all 14 songs, like, I think sonically are very similar. And so they work.
flow.
Yeah, they work as a unit. And then, like, compared to, like, the stuff that we're writing now, it sounds different. But, like, it's still us, but it's, like, not the same us as Hillwood Avenue.
We're not at the, because at one point with Hillwood Avenue, we had everything started connecting. Right now, we're writing a bunch of songs that feel very different, and it's hard to imagine them together.
Right.
But the reason why we had, like, we eventually landed on 14 songs was we got to that point where everything started feeling glued together. And, you know, we're not there yet with the new songs we're writing.
Yeah, hopefully.
It'll come at some point.
It'll happen.
Hopefully.
Now you record a lot of your stuff yourselves. Do you demo them over and over again so you can kind of rework it? What's the workflow like for?
So I remember for Hillwood Avenue, we there were a couple times where we would have to stop recording and then like play the song again.
Yeah.
I think the way we like to approach it is we finish writing the song.
Yeah.
And then we record it.
I mean, I still remember, like, we tracked the drums first, and we did all this at our practice space in Falls Church, Arco Rebar. And we did the drums first, and I remember Sam would get so hot and frustrated, he would just run outside, and, like, it was like 7 degrees outside. He'd just scream at the sky and then come back in.
It was snowing.
Yeah.
We did it in the winter.
I think it's real.
Cool down moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's cool, like you mentioned, that you guys can be real with each other. Like, yo, this is a bad song.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's good that you guys got it like that.
Yeah, no. Another one of the songs on the album called "They Know" is one. It's one of the ones that I sing. It's like 3 of those. It went back a while, but that original state, Sam also told me, yeah, like the original intro was
really silly.
Wasn't great. And then later, after we had written some more songs, I was able to get into a different headspace and then craft what became "They Know," and that is one that we all really like to play. So
That's cool.
We should play it on next Saturday.
yeah.
We should.
So I want to bring
Next
up
Saturday, not this coming Saturday.
Yeah, next
Yeah, not
the
this,
25th of May.
Yeah, the 20.
Yep.
Memorial Day
Saturday at
weekend.
some point in the
Memorial
near
Day
future.
Saturday.
So I want to bring up a topic. Daniel threw out some suggestions, and I think based on your all's punk roots, be an interesting conversation. But Steve Albini passed away recently, and wanted to sort of get your all's thoughts. Legend in the music industry, you know, punk musician, number of bands, became a producer. He liked to call himself an audio engineer, and produced some phenomenal albums, particularly in the late 90s or early, I guess,
In the
early
90s.
90s.
In the
Yeah.
90s.
You know, so just wanted to get all of your all's thoughts on his passing. And
Yeah. Well, I would just say, rest in peace, Steve. I mean, like, such a legend. And just earlier when I was talking about, like, authenticity, like, he had this ability to get a band in a room and capture the essence of what that band was. And I just think I always respect individuals that are like, this is how we're going to do it. If you don't want to do this, then it's cool, but this is how we're going to do it. And then if you don't want to do it, like, there's the door, that's how he was. Like, it was like unwavering in that way. But like, I just, I actually always wanted to work with Steve. I always wanted to work with him and make a record with him. People say it was kind of like really tough. I know some people that worked with Steve, and like, they would just be in a room grinding it out, like, like take after take. But it was all about like minimizing overdubs. I want to capture the band being the band.
Sure.
I always
their
thought that was
live,
so cool.
their live element.
And their live element. And I thought that was such a really cool way to make records because, I've been in situations where it's like, you might demo a song, right? But the song doesn't become a song until you play it as a band.
Right.
When the guys really start gelling and cool stuff starts to happen, this synergy starts to happen, and the song starts to take shape.
Sure.
And I think there's something to really be said. Like, you can demo songs, but like you guys were saying, like, I like how you said we go back to the drawing board and we start playing the song again as a band.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's when cool stuff happens, when maybe you get stuck, and I think that was maybe part of his process too, and so many great records from Steve, like Surfer Rosa, man, like In Utero, like, huge records, Razorblade Suitcase, like so many.
Yeah. Breeders, a lot of the
Absolutely.
the cutting edge of the alternative
Yeah, that sound.
grunge, all of that early 90s throughout the 90s.
Absolutely.
Daniel?
Yeah, I would agree with everything that Lucas said. I think the raw sound of the music and the performance is something that is always everyone really aspires to. And what really shines through is, like you think about it in utero, some of today the guitars are overdubbed to make them this like big thick sound. But to have like a single take on a guitar on some of the records that you mentioned, here, it's naked kind of. It's all on its own, and to be a flawless take means that person played that probably hundreds of times. You know what I mean? To get to that one take.
Right.
And the tones, it's just a raw guitar. It sounds like a really you can tell. It feels like you're in the room.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you listen to In Utero is just what I love about that record, coming after Nevermind. Was that Nevermind was criticized often for being so polished, and of course it's a great pop record. I mean, it's one of the best-selling records of all time. Every song on that record is good. There's so many records that you can say that about, but this is one of them. In Utero, it gives you that sense of the anger and the angst of some of the band members of what they've been through, the emotion, and it just makes you. I remember listening when it came out. It made you feel like you were in that room.
Sure.
That was really, really unique about the approach of recording that record. I think that's even at the time. I've read a lot about Steve and probably the record labels and the executives, as you read, and I'm sure it happened, were not too keen on that. They wanted that polish, that really overly set, perfect pop music sound. That's not what the band wanted, and that's what's really important. Is they wanted a specific sound. They sought him out to deliver that. And a really special person that has influenced a lot of us.
Sure.
Definitely.
Ready for the game?
We're going to do a little throw out. We do some just kind of mixing and conversation from time to time. I just can't help throwing in a game. It's just kind of that's my jam. I just do that. I think I've done that off and on. We did Pringles food pairings. That was you, Daniel. That was not me. So that was your genius, not mine. So I got to give you all of that.
There's a few leftover monsters in here.
They
check the expiration labels.
They reproduce. They multiply the monsters in here. They don't just necessarily live here. They thrive here.
I was telling a story actually before we jumped in here that I had a Monster Energy drink. I hadn't had one in a long time. The last time I was here, and every song we played that night felt like it was the slowest song ever. I was just man, it's gotta be faster. Gotta be faster. But
caffeine and whatnot.
I was so
up to 300 BPM.
yeah, dude. That was ridiculous.
Remember a few years ago they used to have those, but with alcohol in them, and I think they got
Faux Loco, right? It was a Faux Loco.
Yeah, I had so many friends that were just loved those drinks.
Yeah, they were.
They would stay up all night, but they were drunk, and it was just guys,
that had 2 days of hell after.
Stuff. It's so bad for you.
Yeah,
True. That's gonna be so dangerous.
Yeah,
man.
We're gonna do a little. We call it "What Are the Odds." We haven't done this in a year, so we do different types of games, different styles, but we haven't gone to an odds type of game. So we have Notebook Wagering that follows us as another podcast. So they're obviously heavy into the odds.
Yep.
We're a little bit influenced by them on this one, so we're gonna do it again with you guys if you don't mind. So we'll do a little practice round. So the first slide will be practice round. Basically, we're asking you to generate a percentage. So we're not gonna get into you can get into actual odds and do ratio, and then you got some math flowing through your head. And I don't think anybody wants that.
Don't want to do that.
So we'll just go with a straight, there's a 20% chance of that happening, or a 70% chance of that happening, and you give your reason why. Is that simple?
Yeah.
Sound cool?
Yeah.
All right, John's going to throw it up on the screen. We have just a dummy question. The first dummy odds question is a Motley Crue question, because I feel like every week or every other week, however much we're coming in here.
When did you send these questions in?
It was 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
All right. Do you have it?
Yeah, I'll get it. Give me 1 sec.
So
sorry, John.
Stretch.
I know. Like, now I have to come
Well,
up
let's
with a song
talk
and
about.
dance.
I know we've got some tickets to give away to the show on the 25th.
How can I
So
forget-
let's
yeah,
talk
we're gonna
about
maybe
that.
close on that.
And
We get to see John's email. Is that what you're throwing up on the screen?
It's not to
not on the
everybody,
air.
so ignore my.
I'm dying to see that. I got all excited. Sorry.
easily distracted.
Squirrel. Such a squirrel.
Yeah, there's a few tickets that we're going to offer out.
Yeah.
I think Lucas, your suggestion was good. So we want to
Cool.
read that off.
Yeah, so we're thinking what we're going to do is we're going to pull everyone that comments and shares the event page on Facebook for the May 25th show. And we'll just pull all the names into like a raffle kind of drawing, big wheel type thing. And we'll jump on here and do live and we'll draw someone. Maybe each band can take over the day, you know,
Yeah,
and
cool.
we'll draw someone and someone will get a free ticket. I think that sounds pretty cool.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Do
I
it.
mean,
Okay.
how can you not love free live music?
Yeah, man.
It's a great opportunity. So yes, so if you're not watching live, I know that we tend to have more viewers that are watching the show as a recorded show as opposed to a live show.
Yeah.
We're going to be following you on social media
Yep,
and
so-
doing our best to give you tickets to come out and see these three bands play.
Yeah. So the Salisbury Center event for the May 25th show. Like it, share it, and we'll choose random names, anyone that likes it, and share it, and we'll hold you a free ticket for the show.
It could
it.
be you.
It could be you.
Yeah.
It could be you.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? Exactly.
What are the odds?
And we are ready to
I saw
roll.
it. I saw a flash up there. All right,
So-
here we go.
Ooh.
I think this is a gimme question. All right, so what are the odds if you've been keeping up with the Motley Crue drama? Because that's really why it's so easy to talk about. Because there's a lot of drama. Oh, you've missed the drama. All right, so John 5 has replaced Mick Mars as the lead guitarist of Motley Crue. John 5 coming from Rob Zombie, in that really kind of place.
And Marilyn Manson.
And Marilyn,
Yes.
And a solo career, very successful solo career.
absolutely right, exactly.
And
Dude's
Diamond
phenomenal.
Dave, I think. Did he do his
I don't
thing?
remember him with Diamond Dave.
I think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Maybe not.
No.
I feel like he
That
shredded
was
with
that
him.
was mostly Vi,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
Jason Becker
I mean,
Yeah.
more
replaced
recently.
him.
Yeah.
Replaced Steve Vai on the Skyscraper tour, I believe, or no, it was the A Little Ain't Enough,
Yeah.
and then that was it.
I always go to Rob Zombie though for John 5. I don't know why.
Well, his
Guess
name
maybe-
comes. He was assigned the name from Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
He did play with Zombie, and I think still does even
Yes.
tours with
yes.
them.
They just pair well together. Rob Zombie
for
to me
sure.
and John 5.
I'll tell you
I
though,
love
that
how-
dude, David Lee Roth. That's who I was. Yeah.
So
I
he
was
did-
saying.
He did.
He first took the stage in 1998, and when he left David Lee Roth's solo band,
Oh,
go Daniel Ruin
I
with
know.
the
Look, factoid. You got the factoid
These
of the
guys.
day.
Oh.
yeah.
I
So
know.
when he left the solo band, he joined Marilyn Manson and later became a guitar player. For
Somebody's
Zombie.
playing for keeps in the What Are the Odds?
Yeah.
In
Do you have
2022,
his
he became
guitar
the
DVD?
touring. But I'll tell you, John 5 is a guitar hero. of
Beast.
mine.
Yeah. Do you have his
Uh,
DVD that he put out? Like
Chicken-
in the early
yeah.
2000s? It's cool. It's almost like a movie.
Yeah,
all
and he's
like
way
avant-garde.
into that. He fits right in with the
Yeah,
zombie dudes too,
absolutely.
because he's like got all of this like horror movie posters.
Yeah,
and
That's my jam.
and yeah, I've seen, and but the chicken picking style,
Oh
if
my
you,
God,
like you're
yeah,
into
dude.
that stuff. He's really just
Yeah.
talented and
Sure.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's
Doing dive bombs on a
Telecaster
telly.
aesthetic. Yeah.
Telecasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sick.
So a single has been released, Dogs of War, Motley
Okay.
Crue, if you haven't heard it.
Okay.
I did hear it.
Has not gone over well, I feel,
Yeah.
in terms of its popularity, at least what we're finding in social media.
Hot garbage.
Kevin's very strongly opinionated towards
The
it.
guitar is great. The riffs that he plays in the song is great.
It's just a different mix.
Song,
right? It's a
the
different
rest of
style.
it blows.
You guys are talking about songwriting,
Yeah.
you know, and the mix that comes together when people play together.
Yeah, well,
Feels like it's that.
I think Mick Mars was very essential to Motley Crue and their sound. So I think it all depends on what the band wants to do and how things settle. Because isn't like he's like getting a band together too? He's trying to do his
He's
thing.
released
Maybe-
a solo album.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's got the record going.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say I saw some live footage recently, and Vince Neil was looking better. Like you know, like he was
Mhm.
sounding
Yes,
better.
yeah.
So I think it depends on where they are. I know John would probably be down.
All right, so what are the odds, coming up with a number then, that John 5 will make a full-length album with Motley Crue?
coming off the scene.
Hypothetical.
I'm gonna say 70% chance.
All right, you're pretty strong with that.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic. What do you all think?
50-50, I'd say.
I think
50.
I'll,
Doing a push.
I'll go 70 too. I think
Okay,
that's a
wow.
good percentage.
Yeah.
I heard like the beginning of the single, and I just like the riff was cool. The guitar tone was great. I didn't listen to the rest of the song, so. But it was very different from like the Motley Crue I'm used to.
Okay. Yes.
It was
Absolutely.
very, very
A
different.
lot of
Absolutely,
people are
yes.
calling them Motley Poo.
Really?
Well, didn't this kind of happen too?
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Wait, didn't Motley Crue like put out almost like a new metal album too back in like the
Was this like
early 2000s?
Generation Swine?
Generations. Yeah, which is. I feel like it was trying to be grunge. as
Okay.
opposed to
Okay.
new metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that did not go over well, I know.
yeah.
No.
But they still made it. I don't know. Like I think sometimes new blood coming in, maybe something to prove, try something different.
Sure.
That's why I'm leaning more like it might happen.
You got a number?
I would go probably 50-50 as well, and more so on the Mick Mars side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is what you read is there's some tension and bitterness.
Oh, yeah.
I think there
sure.
that, but I mean, Slayer said we're hanging it up, and then Kerry King writes a
Yes.
record, and then they're like, let's go on
Yes.
tour,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how many times has Ozzy Osbourne retired? Come on,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Where are you going?
20%.
Yeah, I knew you would go low.
Low.
Yeah. You don't think it's gonna too much?
No,
See-
because I think, when they first started saying, oh, we're putting this new album together, the material is all great, we're going to blah, 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 blah. And now they're saying, well, we may just release a couple of songs.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they're going to do it, a full album.
I'm going to go low also because I'm going back to an odds makers that we played where we asked the question, will Mick Mars return to Motley Crue? And I was high on that one because I feel like Motley is all about drama. That's a part of their shtick.
Yeah.
That's a part, you know what I mean? That drives the name, that drives them. So I say that John 5 has a lot of other projects and a lot of other places and things that he can do and places he could go. So I'm going to be about with you, Kevin. I'm going to say 15%. I'm going to be a little lower than you. That they'll release a full album with him. I think he's got too many other things to do.
Yeah.
And when he goes and does them, Mick will come back. And that's my drama story, putting the soap opera in this whole
but
situation.
separately.
We've got a
Oh,
spot for
Smitty.
you on the seat.
Yeah, Smitty, we crashed your show. We're playing little odds makers. So I know that you make odds.
Oh man!
By the way, this is Smitty from Notebook Wagering People. So we crashed his show
Last week.
What's going on, everybody?
And
What's
you
up?
crashed it. It's like we're doing a little odds.
I know.
We're making a little odds on this conversation.
Well, it's hard because last week.
Oh, you heard this? Did you hear this?
I just came in.
Okay.
And I said it's tough because I'm a Motley Crue guy.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't too happy last week with the top three.
Yeah.
And
You were dog and rat.
well, we weren't dogging.
You were dog and rat. You
We had to
absolutely were.
take. So we do a thing
You
on
are.
our show sometimes. It's like the top three, and it was Motley Crue, Poison, Rat, and you had to remove one. And myself and my co-host, we removed Rat, and you would have thought, I mean, it was craziness, man. It was crazy.
We
So
brought
it's-
the pitchforks in.
yeah, there was pitchforks came in really quick with that. So it's hard to hear. Like, I haven't really heard the new stuff, and they said don't even waste your time. So
Yeah, they have strong
that's hard.
feelings.
That's hard to hear. But they were asking me about Mick Mars, and I said, man, I mean, I heard what you just said. He's in such bad shape. I'd be shocked.
That's true. That's a good point.
I'd be
His
I'd be
health.
shocked.
There's a health issue there. That's a good point.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I think to your point about the drama that's a good point. When you think about the guitar stuff, it's like, would Mick Mars step back to play rhythm and John? I mean, how are you gonna out-shred John 5, right?
No.
So who's playing the solo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you get a little bit of conflict there. Is like, okay, and but I don't know. I mean, I think coming in as a touring musician to keep the band there for all the fans to go see them live makes a lot of sense, and then seeing John 5 is an added benefit. Like going to see Sam.
John wants Smitty to slide over.
Smitty looks so uncomfortable, squished in there. There's another mic right there next to him. He don't be thrown in the
I didn't
middle
see
of
it
the
like that.
sardine here going on.
So, look, just for the record, this was supposed to be the throwaway question. This was supposed to be you know what I mean? This was supposed to be like we want to talk about you guys. So the next three questions are about you guys. So,
what are the odds that?
What are the odds? So we're going to first approach the Knuckleheads here. So I'm going to ask John to flip so that Smitty gets his time.
I got to leave the studio for a few minutes from Mr. Salisbury. I don't know what he ate, but it's killing out here.
The John's going to pass out.
What are the odds?
On the other side of the. Thank God I'm on this side of the wall.
It's warm in here.
Yeah. Well, here, how about I open the door for you guys so you can get some air?
So here,
We're going with the Knuckleheads here first. So, because you guys play all the damn time. Like, I'm seeing you all over the place. I see, like, just locally. And last time you were in here, remember we asked them about, like, 3 shows, and they're like, oh, no, we have 6. You know, and you guys spouted off, like, a whole nother arsenal of shows that you were playing. So, I threw this question out. What are the odds that the Knuckleheads will play 40 shows, which is a lot of shows, in 2024? There's 52 weeks in a year. So this is a little more than every other week that you guys are playing a show. What are the odds that that's? And I'm going to ask you last.
Okay.
So I'm going to get to the unknowns that don't know your schedule first.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to Daniel and Luke first, and Smitty, of course. And Kevin. I'll give you Kevin.
40 shows.
40 shows in a year.
Does that? So if you play a double header, does that?
That counts as 2 shows.
That counts as
Yeah, we'll count as 2 shows.
Birthday parties, and all that.
Exactly.
Pool
All of it
parties.
counts.
I would say close. I mean, I would put it 70% because I'd say
Wow.
they're probably up there.
Yeah.
Close to it, but we are almost halfway through the year, so
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
looked to see
Yeah.
if they're meeting that.
I'm glad they didn't say anything. Glad you guys
to
were like,
date,
"Oh, we
how
played-"
many have you played?
No, you can't reveal
many
that.
have
You
we
can't
played?
reveal that. That's
I feel like we already have 30
I
in.
don't know how much we played.
X.
Oh, look at a little algebra out.
Yeah,
I
X.
love it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
10.
I don't actually remember.
That could be code. That could be code. What do you think, Luke?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say 60%. Not throwing shade.
You guys know that 40 shows is a lot.
That's a lot of shows.
It
It's
is
a lot of
a
shows.
lot.
It is a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah.
Well, as a sports gambler in a sports show,
Oh, wow.
when we say over under,
Yeah.
you said 40.
40.
So we're thinking it's 40.
It is an over-under question.
Are we doing 41, 42? That'd be the over, less than that.
Correct.
I'm going to go the over.
Okay.
I'm going to go the over.
All right. So you're say like 51% if we stick with the
Yeah,
percentage.
you just got to hit that amount that you said as a show,
Yeah.
as a sports gambler.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it better?
Yeah, I'd say 70%.
I'm at 80. I think that you guys are like you're playing all the damn time.
And you're young.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gauntlet thrown down.
Yeah. So
Yes, respect the hustle. Or something.
If you need a booking agent, he's right here.
Yeah, you can easily cram in, 14 in a 2-week tour.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I think it's pretty low.
Yeah.
I don't know how many we've played already.
Oh, because also
It depends on that.
I'll say I do know something about these guys that you guys didn't know, and that's that their drummer is about to start school.
that's
he's
true.
moving down to Harrisonburg.
Gotcha. I do remember that. I forgot
Yeah,
that, though.
but who knows? Hopefully, we'll get entrenched down there, and maybe shows will come out of that.
Yeah,
so.
maybe we'll play 40 shows at JMU.
JMU.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
mean, you will.
I feel that
Yeah.
you've played at least 6. Because I remember talking about 6 shows when you were last in here, a month or 2 ago.
I will say we've played maybe like 15 this year so far.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And
And
we're-
we
That
have,
might be a little over.
and I mean, yeah, and we
That's
have.
what I'm saying. That's pushing the halfway mark, and we're halfway through the year. A little less than halfway through the year.
Because I mean, yeah, I think our show count is going to tank in like the fall to the winter. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
It's about
Not if you play
quality,
at
it's not
JMU,
about
though.
I
quantity.
was gonna say JMU. I think we're JMU band's about to be born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got
Acoustic shows count.
Smitty's like chomping at the bit. We got to flip to the
No, you guys are good.
right.
Can I say one thing? So when I walked in just a couple minutes ago, you were on camera, and I got to say that T-shirt is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Love the Lost Boys.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I already like that guy.
Nice.
Right on.
All right, let's hit the next one.
Next one. I think we have. I think Cursor's coming up next.
Yes.
All right. This is kind of a hybrid question. What are the odds that Cursor, because you've played the Blue Ridge Rock Festival before, will play the Blue Ridge Rock Festival in 2025, not 2024, because it was canceled this year?
Yeah, so that would be
As a
0
part of-
for this year.
There is 0 for this year. So part of the question is, will the Blue Ridge Rock Festival come back? And then the second part of the question, will we be lucky enough to see Cursor there? We're going to wait for you to the end. we'll start with the Knuckleheads since you guys got last time around.
We got to take into account the fact that it got canceled this year.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to have a big effect on like what's going to happen next year.
Yeah, mismanagement,
sure.
right? Mismanagement, that was the reason.
Epicenter hasn't come back.
And Epicenter has not come back either, exactly.
With that, I'd probably keep the odds fairly low if like nothing has really happened with that yet. Maybe like 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say 50-50. I
Oh,
think.
wow, go on. Yeah.
Because I don't know why they canceled it this year. I know they came out with a reason, but I don't know if
I heard it was just mismanagement of the festival, that there was just logistical mismanagement.
Well, and they canceled it midstream
Yes.
last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something about the staff and the labor conditions, and there was a potential walkout.
Yes.
A lot of folks are, what I'm reading is about tickets were sold before the event was canceled last year for this year that folks are still waiting on their reimbursements on. So there's a lot of drama that's associated. I'm going to go 90%.
Wow, you think it's coming back?
Because I think if there's any band that can resurrect and bring back the value
I like it. Look at the positivity.
of the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, it's Cursor.
Right, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
And, Virginia is for lovers. Right? I think they bring it.
I'll tell you, this is hard.
Yeah.
Again, gambler, like it. Heard a lot of things. It got shut down. I was going to go way under. Now this guy right here, now is bragging it up and like really pushing it here. So
Yeah.
I would say let's go the over and let's do a little higher percentage, over 50%. It's going to happen then.
All right. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, if there was one, I would say it would be 80-90%. But there isn't going to be one. I don't think.
You're going to go as
I'd say zero because
zilch?
I'm
You're
not
gonna
sure. I don't think it's
Bottom
going to
out.
come back,
wow, goose egg from Kevin.
which is a great opportunity to expand local Palooza.
If it's
true.
I like your thinking.
Crafty. That's crafty.
Thinking for the
I
long
didn't
term.
That's
see
genius.
that one. A curveball coming.
Okay, so there's a 100% chance that Cursor would play it if it happens, and there's a 100% chance they play local Palooza. So I'm going to go down that road, but then it all rests to me on whether that festival's coming back.
Under the same name, is that the qualifier?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't think about that.
I would think same location.
Yeah, exactly. Same
Doesn't matter
location.
what
yeah,
you
same
call it.
time of year, fall. I'm going to give it 15%, just because, like I said, I'm going to give you the 100%, but I'm going to give the festival 15%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would say 5% chance.
Wow.
Just because I'm with you.
Can I jump back in and say lower by?
Just because, like you said, I don't know if that festival will come back. I will say this, like, folks that go to Blue Ridge, greatest people in the world. Like, it's a community. They support everything. It was a great experience. And even the year we played, like, it was managed okay, right? Like, but I think just the experience that so many bands had that this previous year, and just how crazy things were backstage, and then with the wind event and everything kind of falling apart and no one knew what was going on, I think it's left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I don't know if they want to be involved per se with the event.
I would think it'd be hard to get some of the bigger names
Exactly.
to come back after what happened.
Yeah, and then I think too, like, there is
Inside information right there, Smitty.
Yeah.
That's
and I
it.
think, and I think too, it's
Changing
something,
my ticket.
it's something to be said about like continuing to sell tickets even though you haven't announced that this year is canceled. Because that was going on. There were screenshots that came out where they were taking money. So, personal opinion, I don't know. I mean, if it was a cool opportunity, maybe, but I would have some reservations.
What was the fest that happened like in the Bahamas or whatever?
Fire
the
Fest.
Fire Fest.
Fire Fest.
It immediately makes you think of that, right? Where they've got this event, they're hyping it up, and there actually isn't a fest.
Right.
I mean? It's sort of everything you read about this now. You're like, ooh, that just really sounds very familiar.
True. But I would love to get out to Sick New World.
Are we up next, John?
No, I was going to say if Netflix picks up a documentary about Blue Ridge, I think then the following year they might be able to pull something off under new management. But under existing, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Woodstock
I wish them
went
the best,
down
though.
that route too.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought it back in '94,
Yeah.
in '99.
Remember they tried to bring it to Merriweather? There was that little hiccup where they tried. There was
Really?
there was it was an announcement that what year was that? What anniversary was it? The 40th? It wasn't too long ago. It was coming out of COVID.
No way.
Yeah, and it was like basically the news was out for a month, and then it just went by the wayside then too because of logistical reasons they couldn't pull it.
There was no mud pit.
Well, if they hold it in May, there probably would be because it does nothing but fucking rain.
It was Woodstock 50 they were talking about doing
50
at
it
Merriweather.
was the 50th. Yeah, I knew it was a landmark. Yeah.
All right.
All right, this is a loaded question.
One more.
We're going to end with a loaded question for Age of Ruin because this also goes back to Local Palooza 3. Exactly. What are the odds that Age of Ruin will be the act directly opening for Black Flag at Local Palooza 3? Yeah, I gave you the heavy. And you don't say anything yet because, there's that inside information. We're going to start with Smitty.
I'm going to say hi. Let's go hi.
So he is, Daniel is involved with the organization of this to some degree. So there's another inside track that I'll throw out.
Okay, so let's go high. Let's
All right.
go 60%.
All right. What do you think, Kevin?
100%.
100%. Wow, man, you're on extremes. You're 0.
I know.
Now to 100. I know those fighting words to some of these guys.
Are we doing the 2 stages, right?
I don't know. Was it 2 stages?
We're doing 2 stages?
I think so.
If it's 2 stages, it's 50-50.
Because where were you guys in relation to Jimmy's Chicken Shack last year?
So they bring up a good point. And I think this is fair for everybody.
Bite your tongue, Kevin.
The way it's set up is to have
Yeah,
two
there's the 2
stages,
stages.
where
Yes.
after one performance ends, the other stage is set up to ready to start playing.
Yeah.
So it's all in the same room, back and forth. All you have to do is turn around. You have another band playing.
Yes.
So that's what
You were on the main stage last year.
I wouldn't say there's a main stage. I mean, there's a stage. Black
you were
Flag.
stage left.
It's unlikely
There's an
that
A
Black
stage and then
Flag
there's
will
a B
play
stage.
on both stages at the same time.
Right.
There's that, but
Yes.
I would say that there's it's I don't know that we would. Jeff, would we say that there's a main stage or it's A, B, sort? I don't know, but
I did always
Yes,
think
the bigger one is probably the main stage.
yeah, the stage on
The
the
one
left.
John did sound at.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
That's the main
last
stage.
The one I
act to
run
go
sound
would be
on
on
is
the
the
main stage.
main fucking
Yeah.
stage. Let's get that right.
Because I know.
I'm just trying
not
to
sure.
point out that there's going to be good music on both stages.
Of course.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
100%.
There's no bad
main.
stage.
Right,
No bad
exactly,
stage. No bad
exactly.
stage. So, but
Right.
you got to stop because other people are making their odds. You're about to, I feel like I
but-
see where you're going. You're about
where-
to give it away.
where-
You're loaded up.
Where was Age of Ruin on the bill in relation to Jimmy's Chicken Shack last year, though?
I believe
You were 2 or 3 up, right?
Yeah, we weren't right before.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Gavin Evick played
Yes.
right.
American Jet Set.
American Jet
Jet
Set
Set
was on the
played.
opposite stage. So it was American Jet Set, then Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Yeah.
And then before American Jet Set on the main stage was Gavin.
On the big stage.
Yes.
And then I think there was another band over there, and then
There was another band over there.
yeah.
2-Piece Nugget was on. I remember that before Gavin.
Yeah, that one got crowbarred in.
Yeah, it
Oh,
did.
yeah, 2-piece.
Oh yeah.
2-Piece Nugget.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think. Yeah.
All right, so wait, so you're going 50-50?
I think 50-50.
You're pushing? It's a push. Luke, oh, I'm sorry, Jared.
Oh no, I'm still thinking.
All right.
I gotta formulate something here.
I think
You keep talking.
Yeah, I think depending, like knowing the format, I don't think you can just put Age of Ruin in, the stage that John isn't doing sound at.
Oh, okay. All right.
So because of that, I think it'll be like Age of Ruin, another band on the other stage, and then Black Flag.
Gotcha.
Unless they do Age of Ruin on, the stage John's doing sound at, and then they have a long break for Black Flag to set up.
But
That's
if
what we
that's-
call the fight business,
if-
the co-main event.
Right. If that's the
co-main event.
setup,
Oh,
then
okay.
that would be
Yes.
directly
Yeah.
opening in some people's view.
yeah,
Well,
exactly. Well, that's
sure.
what Jeff just said
What
also,
if-
the
Right.
co-main event. Exactly.
What if John does sound for both stages?
Can you do that, John? We just want you to do sound.
can you
for
just do
Knuckleheads.
all
Man,
the
they are
sound?
really taking this shit
Yeah,
seriously.
John, you
Yeah.
don't get a break.
I would love
No
to
bathroom
mix
breaks.
Knuckleheads more because I really enjoyed them the time that I got to mix them.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I'm looking forward to Cursor at some point. Age of Ruin. All the bands are great. I'm looking forward to everybody. I'm looking forward to local
he sees
Palooza.
these amplifiers we haul in, and he's like, "Oh God, these guys are."
Yes, the four
Would you leave those
stacks.
things at home, Daniel?
Just bring the one combo.
Right.
The guitar cabs outrun the main PA system, and that's something to say. I'm just like, damn, I have no guitar in the mix. The poor house feed in the lobby has no guitar. They just have vocals because I'm trying to get vocals over top of Daniel's cabs.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with him and say 50-50.
But Damien, did you go to 50-50?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 50.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna say 50-50.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Lucas, what do you think?
Well, I think wherever you play, it'll be a killer show. But I don't know.
That'll
That's very
yeah,
true.
I don't
same with
know.
all the bands.
I mean, I
Got to
don't-
get off the fence.
I don't know the stuff that is behind the scenes. I guess.
We are the
Deep
fence.
planning information.
I don't know. Depends on what you want to do for your band, and if you have an opportunity, do you pursue it or do you not? Do you?
You're saying that Daniel has a lot of like control and leeway then. Where he's-
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Told you it's a loaded
question.
question.
Lots of things to consider. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And then what play do you want to play? Do you want to do you want to give yourself that space to not put yourself in that position, or do you put yourself in that position and take your charge of the moment? I don't know.
The way
that's
you're
a lot.
talking, I should have phrased it as, will Black Flag be opening for AJ?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
Yeah, but like
I don't know. I'm gonna
with
say,
how all of us have been talking, it's Schrodinger's Age of Ruin.
yeah. Maybe 40.
Ooh, okay, wow, you went lower.
Yeah.
I was not expecting. I'm going to go 85, just because I would go with your 100, but I think from conversation that I may have been hearing, there may be a chance of another, national name, the possibility. Maybe not anymore. I don't know, but I know that was at least talked about at some point. So I'll give it at least a small chance for that happening, and that's the only reason I would give it an 85.
I think that maybe the perception of how much influence I have is higher than
Came
maybe
out in
should
that
be.
question, baby.
But
It all comes out.
I do work pretty hard here and help with as
Yeah.
much as I can.
Uh-huh.
And I as a musician, putting yourself in a position like that means you have to rehearse really. I mean, just over and over again to make it perfect, because you can't blow an opportunity like that.
Of course.
But I'm also this event. We are all looking at this as a showcase, not just for punk rock, not just for metal, but for all types of music in this area.
Sure.
To show off what Northern Virginia has to offer.
Right.
And I think what I've seen of the selected acts that are coming through, there's a lot of different genres coming on this bill.
Sure.
That and part of the decision making process, again, I'm not the decider, okay, but is we don't want to stack up all of the loud bands back to back.
Yeah,
We'd like to have rock, punk, indie. There's going to be a few potentially acoustic acts playing throughout the day. We're looking at the lobby as an area for some like a getaway from the loud music to some of the softer stuff.
Sure.
There's going to be some local artists. We have our friend John Hart,
Sure.
Known as Jort, that'll be here. We're really starting to look at other ways of showcasing the art in the community here. Awesome. I understand Days of Five may be direct support.
Reappearing, baby. They make the
this
appearance, the annual appearance
So-
for this event.
So let's put a little plug in for Days of Five, shall we? Which I
Yeah, baby.
Now
We'll
what
get
are
you
the
on the poster
odds?
soon.
What are the odds that Days of Five is the direct support?
0. We had our moment with Kicks.
We got to host
can't-
the podcast while all that's going on
That's
too.
another good point. That's another good point.
Well, I can hop in your seat for a couple, right? Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what percentage way. I would be.
I was good.
50.
Everybody's
I
like
was 50-50.
hanging on your number. We were all hanging.
50-50, sure.
Oh, you're so political. That is such a political answer. And Jeff said he's had enough. you can get away
No,
with
there's
that.
other guys that have schedules they have to keep also.
That's right.
Too easy to talk. You know me. We have another hour.
Well, God, you never shut up if I didn't give you the rap sign.
Yeah. So
Smitty's got a show to
yeah.
do.
So we want to
does his
thank you
partner
guys
that's
for
waiting.
coming in
I know.
again.
We should have brought him in. We should have brought your partner in, Smitty.
Should have flown in from
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
He's in the mountains fishing somewhere.
Oh,
Nice.
Are you solo
Weekend.
today?
I think I might be solo.
Oh.
Maybe solo.
All right. Cool.
I got a big mouth. It will be okay.
Well, again, looking forward to the show on the 25th.
Yeah.
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 Thanks for having me.
Very
Yep.
excited.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you for
in.
having us.
Appreciate it.
And we'll get more information out on the ticket giveaway as well.
You know, we'll talk
Yeah.
again soon. You know, this is,
Absolutely.
of course,
Yeah,
like,
no,
I mean, this
for
is, you guys
Yeah.
are regulars. So,
Right on.
We'll
Yeah.
just
Happy to be.
spawn in at some point.
no, always love
Happy to
it.
come back.
And bands, don't be offended by that because I have to give Jeff the rap signal every week. He always goes long.
Love it.
All right.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
See you on the next Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.
Thank you.
This is WSN.
Nice. That's new.